Hi, I'm Randy Pierson, Vice President of Life and Annuities at Gordon Marketing, and today I have with me Kevin Harman, our RVP for Elite Accounts. And today we're going to be getting into some annuity basics in general, and in specific, addressing the issue of eliminating risk. So stay tuned. All right, Kevin, so this issue of eliminating risk in the annuity space. Before we dive into specific risks, let's take a moment and chat a little bit about some of the hurdles that agents are facing today in selling, fixed indexed annuities or fixed annuities across the board.
Right. I think some of the biggest hurdles are clients, whether they hear negative press, commercials that they see on TV, they think it's very complex, and quite frankly, they just don't understand it, and so therefore they really just don't want to do that. And that goes with the agents as well. There's lots of opportunities out there, tons of opportunity, specifically right now in the marketplace to address these products to eliminate some of the risks in retirement. You
mentioned some of the sources of information. Google, right? I mean, how many agents have we talked to who they're chatting with clients about really any product, life insurance or annuities, and suddenly they're facing the hurdle of their client deciding that it was valuable for them to Google whatever it was that they were wanting to chat about.
Exactly right.
And taking that first bit of information, that first page of information as gospel, right?
Right.
When a lot of times it's perspective.
That's correct.
Right? I mean, we have products that are valuable in the marketplace, not always suitable for every client, not always appropriate for every client,
Correct.
and certainly not going to be suggested or sold by every advisor out there. But every case is different and needs to be evaluated on its own merits. But back to the subject of risk. So, what kind of risks are we talking about, and how are we going to address them?
Yeah, so specifically there's 5 major types of risks that annuities can, take care of. One is market risk. I looked at the market today, we're over 31,000. Investments are at an all-time high. What is market risk? The fear of losing money. Well, right now is a great time for clients to lock in those gains. So their investments have performed, why not lock those in so that we have a now baseline, they cannot lose any money going forward, and all they can do is go up. That's the number one risk that annuities can eliminate.
Yeah, I certainly couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the ability to say to your client, as long as you leave your money where it's at, you can't lose.
That's right.
A lot of advisors in the securities area can't say that.
That's right.
So what else? So you said there are 5 of them.
Yep.
What's next on the list?
Number 2, and I think it should have been number 1. Death and taxes are obviously up there in consideration to people's worries, but the number 1 is income risk, the fear of running out of money. I've got some stats. 1 out of 4 Americans fear that they do not have enough money to live comfortably in retirement. Annuities obviously eliminate that whole misconception. You'll never run out of money as long as you live, and if your spouse is still alive, her life as well.
1 out of 4 Americans don't feel like they have enough money to live comfortably in
25%.
retirement. I suspect there's a lot more Americans out there who are delusional and think that they have enough money to live comfortably.
That's right.
And they desperately need our help to address that need. So what's next? What other risks?
Number 3 is longevity risk. Another couple of stats that are eye-opening. If we had a married couple that were both sitting here today, age 65, you'd have a 25% chance that one of the couples would live to be 97 years old. Mm-hmm. And another one is, at the end of 2010, think about this, 5.5 million people live to be 85 or over. By the time 2050 hits, that estimation is supposed to be close to 19 million people. So people are obviously living longer. Mm-hmm. Again, annuities eliminate longevity risk.
Yeah, a blessing and a curse, right? A blessing and a curse. We're all living longer lives, and that's a blessing. Mm-hmm. But the curse is, hey, if I retire at 65, how am I going to fund 30 years
That's exactly right.
in retirement? So speaking of 30 years in retirement, I suspect I know what the next risk is going to be, and that is inflation. Talk to the viewers about inflation risk.
We all know what inflation is. Things aren't getting any cheaper as we go along. Matter of fact, the inflation rate is 3%. And so if your investments don't keep up with inflation, it's going to take you a longer time to get that back. Obviously, annuities have the opportunity to increase in value and not decrease in value. So hence, inflation risk is obviously the 4th risk that annuities take care of.
All right. And what's the last one? The
last one, yeah, and it's probably our favorite, is the fear of passing away early. Fortunately, annuities come with death benefits. And so when either yourself or your spouse passes away, a death benefit is triggered. The misconception that clients have is that when you die, they think the insurance company keeps their money. Well, that's not the case. The beneficiaries always receive the death benefit payment for the annuity itself.
Yeah, excellent. And most consumers don't fully understand annuities and how they work. And regrettably, many advisors don't even understand how annuities really work. We can certainly help agents better understand how annuities work in general, but in specific, we've got a white paper, don't we, with regards to these risks and how agents can explain those risks to their client. If somebody wanted that white paper, how might they get it, Kevin?
Call us at Gordon Marketing. We'd be more than happy to email it to you or call me direct. I'll get an email sent directly to you. Again, every client's different. That's the beauty of our business. And we can tailor any hypothetical, anything towards that particular client to fit their needs. So get a hold of us at Gordon Marketing. We're here to help.
Absolutely. If you need that mentoring, that coaching, that assistance in taking your business to the next level, we're here to help you. If you want that white paper, be sure you reach out to Kevin. But regrettably, that calls to an end this edition of our Selling Life and Annuity videos. So make sure you stay tuned every Tuesday for a brand new episode. Click subscribe down below this video so you can be notified every time we come out with some new content. And happy selling. Thank you, guys.